Hi, my name is Dawn Maddux. I am a public health nurse at Spartanburg Regional with the Heart Resource Center. We do community outreach, public health for the Heart Center. And we are joined here today at Colorful Cooking at home with one, maybe two fabulous people. I will let them introduce themselves, but I wanted to let you know that we have a Q&A open. It's a live show, so we won't have everybody's faces on there to be able to come off mic. But if you have questions, feel free to shoot them in the Q&A section that you see on your screen, and I'm happy to ask our hosts any questions as we move along. So without further ado, I will pass it off. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Wonderful. Please do ask questions. I may not know the answers, and I'm just going to say, yeah, I don't know how to answer that one. My name is TJ Mack. I work at Spartanburg Medical Center. I am the research and education coordinator for our trauma department. I also do a lot of injury prevention and outreach, although that is not my formal title. I still like to have my hands in that because I enjoy that. And I had a co-host, but I've lost her. There she is. So Meredith is my daughter. She is 8 years old. She goes to Jesse Boyd, and we are working on getting her involved in the kitchen, right? Having her be hands-on in hopes that she eats healthier, better food to give her a longer life. That should be everybody's goal out there. She does not have a microphone. You can see mine here. So it may be difficult to hear her when she has things to say. I might just get in a little closer to try to fix that. We're going to make an Italian salad. It is on this cooktop. It is going to be served warm. But if you don't like it that way, put it in the fridge, eat it the next day, because I, for one, like cold food. When we have spaghetti, it's good the first day, but it's better day two right out of the fridge. So that's always an option. Of course, before you get started with anything, you have to do the preparation part. And as you can see on this table, we have certain ingredients laid out. I like to put things in the order in which it is going to go into the skillet. So that's the way I have it done. You may do it different. That's okay. Meredith wants to give you a little tip real quick when it comes to trying to keep certain things out of your food.
So I suggest you should put your hair up, and then after you put your hair up, wash your hands. But if you like hair in your food, then don't put your hair up.
Yep. So hair goes up. Try to keep it out of the food if possible. One's okay. You can pick that out, put it to the side. When you start to get to the 3s and 4s, it gets a little bit creepy. We try not to do that. And of course, always wash your hands before you start cooking. Also, wash the vegetables. We kind of know where they come from, but do we really? So it's always best to just play it safe. When in doubt, there is no doubt. Meredith washed hers. I'm going to go ahead and wash mine. And then we'll get started. I don't really sing ABCs or anything. I know that they tell us to do that, but I kind of cut that out when I hit like 7. But I do still get between the fingers where the germs like to hide. All right. Yes, one of my roles. Again, one of the things I do is injury prevention. So we will go over a couple of tips within the kitchen. I know you're like, just get to the meal already, but some things are important. I'm a father of 3. This is my oldest. I have a set of twins. And if you know anything about kids, they will find a way to get into everything and with the hopes of destroying it, right? And we don't want that in our house. We just fix things. Also, I worked in the emergency center before working for trauma. So I've seen a lot of injuries and I've seen what can happen in the kitchen. This is going to be our hot cooking area. Never leave this space unattended. Don't think, oh, I got to run to the garage to get a drink real quick, because that is a recipe for disaster. Another thing is this cooktop has this wonderful center section. That's what we're going to be using to heat up our meal. And then you have 4 that go around the border of it. When I'm at home, I tend to use the back burners if at all possible. Reason being, I don't want, Meredith's a little older, she understands, but the younger ones, they'll come over, and if this is here with the handle here, they're certainly going to reach for that handle because it looks like a lot of fun. But what happens next is never fun. It never looks good. It never feels good. So always try to keep them safe. put your stuff towards the back, handles towards the back so that it's not easily accessible for them. With this one, it's in the middle, so that's the burner that we are going to use. I still like to keep things pushed back this way. Meredith wanted to say something, so I'm going to lean in and let her speak. She's whispering to me, forgetting that she can speak to all of you. You were going to say what I said?
Yes.
I stole her thunder. She was going to say, make sure that the handle is positioned towards the back so that people can't grab it and then end up having whatever's in there either on the floor or on them, which is obviously worse. So that's one of the safety tips when it comes to cooking in the kitchen. Never leave it unattended. Always put things towards the back so it's not easily accessible. If your burners are off but still hot, that can still cause damage. So it's, again, it's not one of those things, I'm flipping this to off and I'm walking away. You want to make sure the kids aren't getting close to that, because there are several times the kids come over, there may not be anything on it, but they're like, ooh, what was dad doing over here? They're reaching up and then they get a nice little imprint here where they get the burns on their hands. So again, wait until it's totally cooled down before you walk away completely, or at least make sure somebody has eyes on it. Another safety tip, we have one of these cool little knives, right? They look just like something the 4-year-olds use in their fake kitchens, but these are designed to be used by children. You want it down here? What's cool about it is they don't hurt, but they'll get the job done. So, and I'm not going to try to slice any flesh, but you can see it is safe. It is going to keep them from opening up the skin, but it's still going to chop up your fruits and veggies. I'm going to put this one down since I just fondled it with my fingers, though they should be clean. Okay, moving on. These are going to be my first 5 ingredients. I'm going to chop, chop, chop. We're going to throw it in there. We're going to heat it for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to chop, chop, chop over here. Add that in for an additional 10 minutes, and then we'll finish up with our chickpeas and our marinara. So it doesn't matter to me what order you go with these things. Meredith, do you have a preference? What do you want to chop first? Okay, so we'll chop the zucchinis first after we chop one of these things, because this is going to be step 2. All right, we got to heat this first, then we're coming over here. So the options are the beautiful red bell pepper or the onion. Which one do you want to go with?
The pepper.
All right, we're going to do the pepper first. As you can see, the onion is already split in half, right? They come like this, if you didn't know, but we cut it in half just to make it easier for us. And then I'll show you how we chop that up. For now, I'm going to move this to the side and we'll start with our pepper. This is a knife. This can cause a lot of damage. Please be careful when handling knives. Anywhere, not just in the kitchen, but anywhere. One thing we run into in our emergency center is, these piercing injuries or a stabbing where somebody says, well, and I'm going to flip over to this one real quick. I was in the kitchen and I just turned around and my husband, it accidentally went right into my gut. Maybe not, but it could be preventable. So never, when you have a knife, walk around like this in the kitchen. Inappropriate, right? Can cause damage. Please don't do that. Be aware of where that is pointing, because it is a danger zone. Okay.
So you hold the knife.
So here's what I do. Always point it this way, away from somebody's body. I am not ever going to turn to reach for something while the knife is in my hand. I'll put it down, make certain that, hey, okay, I'm not going to slash anybody as I rotate, because I don't need it. I need my hands to grab things. I don't need a knife in it. When I need the knife, I will pick it up and we can chop. This is the way I cut a pepper. Meredith, do you remember?
So what he does is he cuts the little indent. He cuts the little indents right here. And
Yeah. So first thing I do is remove the top, and I've seen some people, core out the middle and then pop it off, but I just cut it. Take it here, chop it down, right? When I do that, she'll take out that part. This guy is going to go in here. That's our discard bin. All of this is still good pepper, right? I like it, so I keep it. You don't have to.
Okay.
We take out the stuff in the middle. You got to get your hands down in there, right? Become one with the pepper. We're going to discard that. If you're into gardening, you can certainly harvest those seeds and try to get your little backyard thing going. You may have leftovers within the pepper here, these little, I don't even know what you call it, innards. Certainly could be some seeds left over, but we want to get rid of that. So you can take your fingers and you can rip it out, or you can take your knife and just kind of slice it out and put it to the side. Whatever you decide, just be careful at doing it, okay? If you want to, we're doing pretty good here. We don't have a lot of leftover in there, but if there's a lot, just go to the sink, run some water over it to help wash that out. And of course, you could always just wash it out if you're a super clean person. I tend not to be. I think some germs are good. They're good for our gut. They're good to keep us healthy, etc. So like Meredith had mentioned earlier, there's lines in this pepper. And I'm going to follow those lines to do my chopping. Okay, so I'm going to take my knife, and you can use a smaller knife. This one's like very Jason Voorhees, and that's okay too. And I'm just going to follow down.
By the way, we've looked it up and found out that the inside is called the ribs of the pepper.
I'm sorry, the what?
The ribs
The ribs
of the pepper.
Look at that. So even though you may not like meat, you can still have ribs. And we all have ribs in us too. Once we have it divided, it's easier to get to the ribs. Yes, you may go ahead.
So this is a vegetarian meal and not a vegetarian meal.
Yes, technically it's a vegetarian meal, but it has some non-vegetarian terms, which I guess are also
This one.
are vegetarian terms because it's the real name. So I'm just taking off the ribs, right? Because I don't like those. You guys may like those, and there might be a better knife to use to do this. But I'm using what's available. Okay, I got my peppers. I am now going to chop them up. This is the way I like to do it. We're going to move this to the side so we have a good chopping field. And I keep my blade down as I chop. I try to keep whatever I chop relatively the same size. And that is so that when I'm cooking it, I know some of y'all are going to be like, he is not doing that right. He is ruining that blade.
I think you're doing great.
When I'm cooking it, it all cooks in about the same amount of time. And then whether you're using a fork or a spoon, I want to get a little bit of each thing so I can get all the flavor at one time instead of, oh man, don't touch the knife. I made that so big, only one thing could fit on my spoon or fork. So I do try to keep things the same. Choppy chop. This is the pepper, and this is that top part. So you can see once it's chopped up, you're not going to know the difference.
True.
And still got a good crunch. We have a bowl here. Right here. And we're going to take the things that we've chopped and we're going to place it into this bowl. No reason to reach. Let's save our back. I mean, she has a great back, right? She's fresh out of the box. I've got a little more time on mine, so I try to save it. Once you have a back injury, very difficult to recover from, and things just tend to continue to go downward. All right, excellent. You notice how when she scraped the peppers into the bowl, this looks glass, it looks beautiful, but it's plastic, makes it lightweight.
Uh-huh.
When she scraped it into the bowl, she scraped with the back side of the knife to try to save that blade. Little pro tip for you. Moving on to the onion. We've already cut the onion in half. With the onion, you've got these natural grooves in there. I'm going to follow those grooves to do my chopping. Okay, so I put it down. We can start with this one because it's got the pigtail, and I like it because I can hold on to it. You see this little pigtail here? Makes it easier for me to hold. This one does have that outer layer still, so I'm just going to do a little chop here to remove that part because I don't think that part tastes very good. Meredith's she's gonna peel it when she finds where I chopped it.
We already have one person asking for the recipe.
Oh, excellent. I don't know the best way to get you the recipe.
Oh, we've already handled that. We're gonna.
Our team here is so great. They've handled that.
Hi, person who asked.
Okay, so she's peeling this off. Hello, person who asked for the recipe. That can stay because I'm gonna use that, right? So again, if we can see it in the box, we have these grooves that are naturally on the onion, and I just take my chopping utensil and I follow down those grooves.
Sometimes there's every other groove to make it.
Yeah. I am not a perfectionist. I am not type A. And I do think that not only cooking, but life in general should be fun. And when we put too much pressure on things, sometimes it takes all the fun out of it, right? When we were going to our exercise class, because again, we do injury prevention and outreach. And one of the things that, yes, one of the things we do is an exercise course for older adults. Anybody's welcome, but it's targeted for older adults. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it was today at Cleveland Park, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Comprehensive exercise program. It's wonderful. We have a good turnout. Point is, her tummy was a little rumbly. She was a little anxious, making her tummy upset. But I told her, just relax, right? It's not a big deal. We're going to have a good time. I think maybe I put too much pressure on her yesterday when I was like, hey, this is a work thing, so try to keep it professional. And I think she got a little anxious from that. So I dialed it back. So let's just have fun. All right, so I did my first chop. You can see here, it splits, right? But I still have it together. You can hold it.
And you guys are doing great, by the way. Fabulous.
Thanks. Okay, and so we're going to put it back. She's just going to toss it back down. She's like, I don't know you. We put it back down, and then we just do our chops, right? And I rotate the onion as I chop.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody chop an onion like that before.
Right. And I didn't make this up, guys. I went to a class in Greenville, and this is the one thing I took away from the class was that it was like, this is how we chop an onion. And I was like, that is a really interesting way. And then you can put it on its side and chop the rest. Now, this brown stuff, I'm not saying it's bad, but I don't want to find out, so I'm just moving it to the side. I don't want it. Okay, so that's half the onion. Meredith, I'm going to ask you to put that half into this bowl, please. And you can use your knife if you want, or you can just dump and use your hand, again. All right.
No.
No, not yet.
Not yet, guys.
Okay. That's half the onion. Now that most of the explaining on the onion chopping is out of the way, we're just going to go ahead and do this other half. She's going to peel it. I'm going to put this over here, act like I'm doing something special. Getting it done. So, other than burns, a lot of the other injuries that come from the kitchen are going to be lacerations, stabbings. I don't know if stabbing, and it sounds so horrible, well, because it is. We also do teach a Stop the Bleed course. And if you all are interested, you can reach out. It's usually an hour long, and we go through how to stop a life-threatening bleed. And then there's a little bit of a hand-on portion where you guys can practice before somebody is bleeding beneath you, needing your help. It's always good to get that practice in. And then another thing that happens mostly in the kitchen or the bathrooms within your home are going to be falls. Our trauma department sees over 3,000 patients a year. Yes, you can. That's our trauma department, not our emergency center. They see well up into the 120,000s. But the trauma department is a little bit of a separate segment where they focus on just the physically, traumatically injured patients. And about 51% of what we see are older adult falls, and they tend to fall mostly at home and in their bathroom or the kitchen. One reason the kitchen is because there's a lot of liquids, water from the sink, the refrigerator, spills occur. You don't have the carpet to absorb things. So that's one thing that SAIL helps prevent the exercise class. And so I do get long-winded. Mary, when you want to talk, you just speak up, baby. You just got to shut me up. I will respect your wishes. You didn't hear. She said, please don't call me baby.
Dad.
Well, honey, you said it. Okay.
You guys did not hear that.
Okay. You want to do this again?
Yes, sir.
These are all very normal family conversations that happen in the kitchen.
Yeah. No, it can get worse. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on so it can start warming up while she's doing that. Again, she is 8. She is responsible, but she goes to Jessie Boyd. She loves it. It is my responsibility to make sure that she stays safe in the kitchen. So I can't leave her unattended with a big chopping machine in her hand. Okay. Thank you.
Because all the teachers are great.
All the teachers are great. We've had nothing but good experiences with Jessie Boyd. And I'm certain the other public schools are wonderful too. Here,
True.
we have this on, the heat is on medium. That's where we're going to keep it because that's what the instructions say. I'm going to take my bell pepper and my onion, and you can use different color pepper or onion. Again, it's all preference. You want to dump it in here?
Yeah.
She is going to dump it in. It might take a moment for it to heat up. Voila. We'll put this back over. I'm going to take I think this is for like putting icing on a cake, but we're going to be creative and we're going to use it to stir up our food. The next ingredient, you can touch that, right? So this has a coating on it, which allows the handle to be touched because it's not going to heat up, right? If it were just metal, the whole thing could heat up and that could lead to a burn or ooch, that's hot kind of situation. But because it has that rubber coating, it's not going to heat up, or at least not nearly as fast. So it's much safer for her to touch. This is garlic that was pre-chopped because it's easier for us. So I'm going to take this garlic, and I believe it's 6 cloves. Right. When we did this at home ourselves, we bought it pre-chopped, minced garlic, but they had fresh garlic here. And if you can get fresh ingredients, certainly it may taste better and be better for you. So I'm going to take it. See that? Voila. You can't smell it, but it's probably what smells best here. And I'm going to hand it off to Meredith, who is going to add that ingredient. There we go. And I don't need this anymore. And because I don't need it anymore, I'm going to move it away from my workstation so that I can reduce the clutter. Next. Yes, I'm always listening to podcasts, and sometimes I get stressed because we have 3 kids, and when you have 3 kids, you have a lot of stuff. And I'm like, that's okay, I'll just organize it. And then somebody dropped me a line and was like, organized clutter is still clutter. And so then I felt defeated and I wasn't certain what to do. So it was more of a thank you for the information. All right. If you do you, we're going to move on to some spices. So the first 5 things that we add, the garlic, the onion, the pepper. Then we do a teaspoon of oregano and half a teaspoon of thyme. And you can use a teaspoon, right? Meredith and I had the conversation about differences between a teaspoon and a tablespoon, or you can use one of these measuring dippy stick things that have it written on there as well. Okay. Mary, do you want me to go ahead and measure this out, or do you want to do it? All right. So this has these shaker top. I'm gonna remove that just to make it easier for us to get into. She's gonna do 1. Well, you can scoop it if you like, if that makes it easier, and you can do it over here to cut down on mess.
So like this. That's really good.
A microphone.
This smells really good.
It does smell good. That's oregano. So go ahead. 1 teaspoon of oregano, half a teaspoon of the thyme. Yeah, she likes to disperse it evenly. It's probably not a bad idea, right? So again, she's trying to get into it. Now, is that the teaspoon or is that the half?
This is a teaspoon.
Mm-hmm. Popping the top off, just easier access.
Wait, I don't see a half.
I bet you can find it. Yep. 1/2 is a fraction, which is a half.
I'm so silly.
Yeah, we all are.
Mare, have you learned
bit
fractions
more.
yet in class?
They kind of went over it once or
Slightly.
twice, but hasn't quite been cemented.
Introduced to the idea.
Yeah, this is a fraction. A little more.
I think we're not far behind you, Meredith.
It's okay. So sometimes we make mess, we'll clean it up.
Oh yeah.
That's not going to hurt you. If it's a spill in the floor, that's when you take a break and you stop and you clean it up immediately. You don't want to get back to a spill because you can forget about it and then slip and fall, and then you're in the floor and your food's cooking and then it's burning and then you don't have dinner and you got the broken hip. Not what we want. Okay. So spill, clean up immediately. Spice can wait. Yes, that is good. Again, we're done with this. Put this out of the way. put it to the side. So we have a trash can. They've thought of everything in this kitchen. Right, yeah, it's not just going in the floor for somebody else. Oh, we're done with our job. Have fun, guys. That's not the way we work.
Thanks, guys.
This is going to get stirred up about 10 minutes. You want your onions to get soft. You want the peppers to do the same. So that is a great idea, Meredith. She said we should chop some zucchini while we're waiting, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to move this one here.
I'm going to use my knife. And then
Let's move into our square. Let's move this over here. And I'm gonna declutter her board here just to make it easier. She's not fighting for space.
Don't look at that right now.
According to the yeah, absolutely. She's going to discard the ends. We don't want to eat those. Yeah, according to the instructions, it says 1/4 of an inch thick. Nobody saw it. Just leave it. Just leave it. We don't need it. We got plenty.
You're good.
1/4 of an inch thick, but do what you want to do. Yeah, you can, or you can leave it on the board and we'll put it in when you're finished with the whole thing. So if I could give you a tip, what I would do is hold here and chop that way, right? Does that make it a little easier? All right, so she's going to chop that one up. Then we'll get to the others. Yeah, she was pre-doing. I would just say not too thick, not too thin. When it comes to this skillet cooktop, they say add a little bit of water so it doesn't stick. And they say a teaspoon. So you could certainly get a teaspoon and then sit here and do like that. I'm not going to do that because I got a little bit of water. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water so it doesn't stick.
Other options, maybe some veggie broth.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, anything.
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
That
yeah.
sounds good.
Especially if you got like a dairy thing. There's
Yeah.
plant-based butters, you know.
Yeah. She's doing great on that zucchini. You could also throw some squash in here. So my wife likes to use the term chef it up. She's like, oh, I'm going to chef up dinner tonight. And I'm like, really? Is that a good idea? Sometimes it is. And then sometimes it's like, what's for takeout? It just depends on the meal. Lamb is not a good idea. There have been some that were, pretty good.
She's going to be able to see this, right?
Chef it up. Yeah, she's going to see this. But we have these conversations all the time at my house, all the time. The other thing, when she says chef it up, it reminds me of like Christmas when we're putting together the kids' toys. And it's like, let me see the box so I can put it together. And I'm like, well, how about you see the instructions? No, just let me see the box. Okay. And obviously it takes longer because we make up our own steps instead of following the instructions, right? But right, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. In the house, yes. So not everyone does that. That is the beauty of the world, is that we are all different. Right, always steer clear of your fingers. Know where your knife is.
Okay.
Do you want to do a swap? I did forget to point out, these have been pre-cut lengthwise. And we have one here that I can show you. You want 3 zucchinis, by the way. We'll send the instructions and the ingredients out, but 3 of these, or if you want to throw in a squash for more color, that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cut these things off.
When she says no one saw that, I think everyone watching probably did see it. But
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead and chop that one off. And then she's going to chop. Here's the cool thing. She has a cutting board. I have a cutting board. So we can work together. And that's what life's about, working together to achieve a common goal.
And one of the
I'll do-
coolest things about getting in the kitchen is it's not just the family time at the table. Is as humans, one of the best ways to bond is over food, and that's either shopping for it, prepping it, eating it.
The older I get, and I'm
How do you
38, I don't know, maybe it was YouTube. Cooking, and maybe not cooking, but food in general, that is my social time. That is where I have the important conversations. And now I can't say we eat at the dinner table every night. That would be awesome, but it would also be a lie if I said that.
It's also really hard to do.
It is.
try?
We do try to get it in. You know, we do a Taco Tuesday, have some neighbors come over, they hang, they're cool, we like them. Has anybody been keeping up with my time on when I put this in? Because I think it's about time to add the others just by looking at it. And it may be because I did turn my heat up a little bit because I was told that it takes a little bit of time to heat up. So I'm a little past medium. We're in that time frame. Look, not everything has to be perfect
Because nobody's perfect.
because nobody's perfect. I think our goal in life is progress, not perfection. Again, I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I got a lot of these one-liners.
This is the zucchini after it's cut up, right? This is zucchini.
Yep.
Make sure I'm not wrong.
And I'm not like, I don't know, but I think zucchini is a type of squash.
Here, I'll cut one.
All right, look at her. She's offering to help, guys. This is a rare occurrence.
So it's not just me, it could be some people out there. But I don't like for example, when I have dinner at my cousin's house, and like steak and mashed potatoes, I don't like when it touches. But like with this, it doesn't matter because it's all getting.
All going together, right? Beauty of a salad.
Yeah, I just don't.
So Mary, you're picky about what foods touch on your plate sometimes. So you said you don't like the steak and the potatoes to touch, huh? But all this stuff touching is fine.
Yeah, because it's all getting mixed into the
I see.
same.
I see. I don't think you're alone in that. I think well into adulthood, many people are particular about.
Right, Sheldon doesn't like it. He's
Oh, Sheldon
neurodivergent.
from that TV show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
TV shows, fun. Growing up,
I
if
just
we
can't
ate
think of the name. Oh, young Sheldon.
yeah, at my grandparents, they always had the TV on at dinner.
Mine too. It was always the news.
It was different things for us. Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy. But I guess those were the same. Yeah. Okay. She's chopping up the zucchini. This is ready. I'm gonna go ahead and add the zucchini to it.
I'm gonna just put what I have so far in there.
And she's gonna put what she has so far. I'm gonna let her continue to do that. I'm just gonna give this a head start, throw it on in. This
And
is
that-
supposed to go for about another 10 minutes.
That zucchini lets off a lot of water, doesn't it?
Can someone find
Yeah.
The squash. We got it.
Please.
So you're doing half moon cut rather than quarters? Not a
Yes.
judgment, just a
Yeah.
question. I love
So
how you cut it. It looks like a half
I
moon.
have this.
yes, earlier when I was saying, yeah, they can see it. They just can't, it's not as close up as the other
Okay.
things are.
Like the zucchini. The zucchini is taking over, but we still have some chickpeas to add. and
Chickpeas,
Basil leaves.
some basil, and then the marinara and some white wine vinegar.
And as you see, I picked some color bowls out. And it's summer. Did I say color bowls out?
Yeah, you did.
Summer bowls out. You guys.
But they
Summer
are
bowls.
colorful summer bowls.
What's the green one? Not really summery because like everything's green.
The zucchini is half moon shaped, but it's supposed to be cut, and some of these are likely larger in quarter-inch slices. None of us are professionals. We don't have to be. We can still
But some
enjoy the
people like
process.
bigger slices in their
Right.
food.
Yeah.
Some people like and you know, Meredith, personally, I like really small pieces of onion. Some people can take, bigger ones, like they'll do strips in their salad or like the big curved strips, but I
Right
like
on.
when they're really diced up. So it just kind of comes down to preference. So I think that's great. And when you're cooking at home, you can make it however you want.
Mare, what is your least favorite part of the onion? Yeah.
The crying part.
Right. So we made this recipe earlier this week. And then, her eyes just started getting watery. It had never happened before. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's normal. Chopping
up an onion and it wasn't frying. But like,
But yeah, it's normal. So we stir this up and we stir it up, and stir it. I don't know what that's from, but it's from one of those jingly cartoon commercial things. About another 10 minutes until the zucchini is nice and you want to be able to get into it nice with a fork. Oh, right. Yeah, they set an alarm for us. But at the same time, you may not always need an alarm because, again, everybody out there is different. So how you like it may not be the same way that I like it. And here's a secret. That's okay. You want to stir? Okay, we'll move over to this. So this will be our last part, right? We have our marinara sauce, and it calls for 1 cup. We've got a lot, right? Depending on the size of your zucchinis and onions and all, you may want to add a little bit more marinara sauce to get that marinara-y flavor. And then we have our white wine vinegar.
we have a white wine.
Sorry. Marinara sauce and our garbanzo beans, our chickpeas.
Fresh bagel.
Now, Meredith, if we don't use all that basil, are you going to take it home and plant it?
Is that an option?
Yeah, probably. I don't see why not.
Yeah, we'll put it to good use. We'll see.
We did that once. I got a fresh basil plant and it's still going strong. We still use it after a year.
A little bit more agua.
So, you know what I love about this dish so far is all the colors. Because Meredith,
Right.
I'm sure you knew this too, but it's really important to eat a full rainbow of food. So you want as many
And isn't this called colorful cooking?
colorful cooking at home. That's right. So we try to add as many natural colors to our plates as possible. And that's where we get different nutrients and minerals that we need to fuel our bodies from whole plants and natural sources. Yeah.
Okay, so hold on.
Oh, she was going to say we tried to change the name to Chopping with Your Children, but it did not go over well.
No,
So colorful cooking it is.
I was not gonna say that, guys.
Oh, yeah, right. That's what I was going to say.
Okay, but
Blame it on her.
I know what I was gonna say. So I was gonna say, if you like less, what is the
Marinara?
marinara, then add less. But if you like more marinara, then add more. It's how you like it.
That is a
Right.
great point. Yeah, it can get hot, over by the cooktop here. So have your glass of water as you sit here. Always
Wine.
make sure you stay hydrated. Sometimes things flop out. See, that was a good thing. She said, I can't touch it. Why? Because when she touches it, it could be hot, could cause one of these motions, and then you make a bigger mess, and maybe she hits her hand on the side. So if it goes out, it's all right. I promise it's going to be okay.
Good job, Mare. I like that you chose not to touch the hot thing.
We have colors. We have reds. We have whites. We have greens. We got speckly things. You want me to get in? It may have cooled down by this point, but it's all right. We can clean up our mess when we're done.
No, but then what?
Well, we're likely going to throw it back in there. The heat will take care of everything.
It's so true.
See, no,
Right. At this point, you don't know which one it is. Good luck finding it. I've never found one.
Has your little brother or sister ever picked something up off the floor and put it back in the pan? I'm pretty sure that's happened at our house.
They definitely put it in their mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
You know.
all the time. Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
And, oh, it was not under. It was in the couch. Oh, okay. Good to know.
For how long?
Right.
The world may never
Right.
know.
It multiplied while it was in the couch.
That's real
How's it
colorful
looking?
cooking at home.
It looks like it's about time to add our last step. This is a spoon. I'm just checking to see how.
That's a spoon. Yeah.
Well, they might not be able to see.
Oh, okay. So then, this is a metal spoon. You should use plastic spoon because I could know. But metal.
Preference.
Make sure you don't drop it. Here's a funny story. Me and my friend were making ramen 2 years ago, and I dropped the fork in there.
Ramen is not the most nutritional.
But I dropped the fork in there, so she had to fish it out. And it was really hot. And this has been. And make sure you don't drop it in your ramen, like I did.
Right. Try not to drop your utensils into your food. And if you do, certainly don't use your hands to fish it out, right? Yeah. Or an adult, right, and not an adult's hand. All right, we're going to do our last steps, right? So we have a can of chickpeas. A can of chickpeas that's been emptied into a bowl. You can rinse them if you wish. Oh, I think they've already been rinsed. Yeah, ours have been rinsed.
Okay.
You may add.
Again, I like to spread them out
Oh, smart.
and not drop them on the
And I
stove.
don't think I had my mic on, but one of the benefits of rinsing beans or chickpeas, legumes, anything like that that comes in a can is you can get about, I think, a third of the sodium content gone when you rinse. So if you're somebody who's watching your sodium, perhaps for blood pressure reasons or any other cardiovascular or other health, that's a great way to cut down on some sodium.
Stir it up, stir it up. Sorry, guys. We're going to switch. She's going to do a tablespoon of the white wine. Yeah, it says it there. Right
Do
there
you-
on there.
Do you know the abbreviations, Meredith, for tablespoon versus teaspoon? Usually they do TBSP for tablespoon and TSP for teaspoon.
Hey guys, I'm gonna do this over the sink, so if it's spilled,
Catch some of it.
That's a great idea.
That's an idea. You could also do it over your dish. And if it spills, you're just adding a little more. Yes, a full tablespoon. And then if you don't have a tablespoon, you can use a teaspoon and just do it 3 times.
Fun fact.
Most. Thank you very much.
again.
And then we're going to stir this up. Smells so good. Most of our food does stay in this cooktop. Some of it scatters on the outside. Those are just casualties of war. Last little bit here. This is our marinara. I'm adding a cup. If I don't like the way it looks, I'm going to add a little more. Oh, pulling back.
Again, scatter it. You don't have to, but I think it gives a better taste. I sometimes, to make it fun to scatter it, try to make designs, but that's not really working today.
Designs are cool. She also does that with her coffee.
Yeah, I also do that with my coffee.
Delicious.
I make myself a mocha.
Right.
Well,
She'll stir that up. I'm going to put this to the side. You don't have to add it. It does add flavor. What I like about this is called a salad, is that nobody's trying to trick you. There was a time in our house when it was like, oh, we're having spaghetti. And I do love spaghetti. I'd be like, yeah, spaghetti Sunday, great. And then we'd get the plate and it was spaghetti sauce with zucchini noodles. And that wasn't really, in my opinion, that wasn't spaghetti, right? Somebody was trying to pull one over on me. This doesn't do that. It is zucchini, but it's telling you, hey, I'm a zucchini salad with the spaghetti sauce and it tastes delicious. Yes, I should still have liked the zucchini noodle spaghetti because essentially it's the same thing, but there was something about my brain was not liking that. It was not picking up on the squiggly zucchini. Yeah, more than once, right? Like cauliflower pizza, I'm sure it's delicious. I'm sure. She's going to stir that up real good.
That's some real trauma in your past there.
Man.
You
Not compared to some.
know?
We're going to take a couple of these basil leaves. All right, we're going to switch. I'm just going to grab 4 or 5 of them. One moment, please. I have one more. Put them down there. She's going to chop those up for me for the garnish. Well, so you can try to use that knife, but also
You can kind of bunch them
our
up.
medical director, when speaking of stop the bleed, he'll tell you that these are your
me to
best
go find a
friend when you're trying to stop somebody from bleeding. And they're also very helpful in the kitchen. If she doesn't want to chop them up, you can just tear them up, throw them on top. The point is to make them smaller than they are. Right? Fresh food.
They do smell delicious.
She would use it as a perfume.
So, you know, one thing you can do, you can kind of stack the leaves on top of each other. And even if they're little,
Dawn, you
I
want to
kind of
scooch
go
over?
from,
Here, let's scooch these over a little so
oh yeah.
our viewing audience.
Oh, that's
you.
true. Yeah. When I'm not back doing all that, I forget.
This is producer Dawn. I'm sure you all have met her
Yeah.
before.
So look, you can kind of like roll it up like this.
Just so you guys know, this is the home stretch. We're stirring this
I
up.
know. We're
We're
near
going to
our
add a
hour.
little bit of salt and a little bit of
And then you
pepper.
can just kind of cut like that.
And then we're going to, I mean, if, you know, my live studio audience was actually here, we would put it into bowls and serve hot.
And
It
then
being summertime,
now you've got
I'm
little,
sure you have an abundance of
strips,
zucchini. So this is
and then you
one
can
reason this was
move
a good recipe to choose because there's a lot of it out there today.
And you can just kind of.
But they can try.
Yeah, well, they
Oh,
certainly
yeah.
can try some.
What's up?
Oh, I
Um,
plan on trying some.
But the other thing is it's really hot. It's a hot summer. So if you don't like it warm, I mentioned this earlier,
Okay.
just put it in the
And you
fridge
just
and
keep
eat it the
moving.
next day and you can
tear
have it
up
cold.
at the end.
Yum.
I don't know. There's something therapeutic I think about. I learned that with kale. You can roll it up and then make strips because it's so tough.
Yeah,
Why add?
yeah. And I'll let you do the salt and the pepper.
Throw it in, kiddo.
I'm gonna spatter it. Like I keep saying and saying and saying.
Like she keeps saying and saying, I'm going to turn down our heat a little bit because we are coming, sadly, to the end.
Yeah, but they're gonna try some.
They're going to try some. And
How much salt?
even if they don't like it, they're going to say, oh, it's delicious.
They don't know. It's virtual. You know
Little,
what I mean?
just a
I
little
don't
bit.
think there's any way this could be bad, though. I think it's
Also-
going to be
Oh, no,
delicious.
it is good. We had it the other day. And my wife had it the next day too. So that tells me that it was good. Otherwise, she wouldn't have touched it the second time.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the 4-year-olds ate a bunch of it. Henry. Yeah, Henry ate a bunch. So that
Wow.
tells you something there. He's 4.5. Salt and pepper, optional. I like it. If you have a restriction, certainly you can leave the salt out. But we did add it in here today. I do like to clean as I'm going through the kitchen. Well, yes, but then I had to stop because it was getting late. So
Wow.
it was late. But that's because we have 3 kids and the house is messy. And sometimes the only time you can get it done is when they are getting ready for bed.
Sometimes you have to vacuum at 11 p.m.
You gotta do what you
because
gotta do to
that's
get
what
the
you
pretzel
do.
off of the floor.
I feel like
Did you
this has
know?
been like a therapy session
Oh,
as
okay.
well for
Anytime somebody
families.
talks to me, it's like that. They're like, let's not talk to TJ today. It'll be 30 minutes of his life. But helps me. We are trying to say, those your pretzels? you need to get them out of the floor. You know, they either look at you and walk away, it's not cool, or they pick it up and eat it. I like the second one better. Okay.
No, Dad, you go. You need to get that up. No.
She says I put on my mean, strict voice.
Even when my friends are over.
Yeah, well, I'm your dad.
And this is why families should cook together.
Right.
You can air it all
That
out.
is right. They get it out. And to be fair, her friends are over all the time. They're like family. And I'm not going to put on a show for them. Like I put on a show for you all. This is a team thing, team sport. We have bowls, Meredith. Well, let me do this part
No.
because yes, please, because this is a tool and this is very heavy and very hot. I did turn off our cooktop, but that doesn't mean it's not hot. It's still hot, so still be cautious around it. We're gonna, we are, babe. I'm sorry, we are, Meredith.
Of course.
Go put it in the square over there.
The square.
Little bit
Square.
A little bit closer
Oh
to the
yeah,
pad.
what square?
Perfect.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll do it because there's knives on there.
Ooh, fabulous. Those look so delicious. Yeah. All right. I want you guys to sample it if it's not too hot
Yes,
to
try
try
it. She wants us to try it. Do we have a fork? We could do it with a spoon, certainly, but I like to stab it because I want to make
There
sure.
should be
It's
some
okay.
tasting spoons over there to the
I
to your
see.
left. Yep.
In our handy dandy silverware container.
Sorry, guys. He's being like a cartoon.
3 kids. All right, so we're finding knives and we have forks.
Fabulous.
Here's a fork. Gotta take a deep breath. Yeah, I promise it is not bad. It tastes delicious. And that's the problem. No kids like vegetables. So what can we do? Include them in the process. Maybe they'll be more likely to try it, right?
That's very true.
Yeah, that one's a little bit bent, but that's all right. I am trying it. So I got a little bit of chickpea, a little bit of squash. I'm trying to make sure I get some onion and a pepper because again, I like all the flavor in my mouth at one time. And then we go in. Ready? I love it.
So we're gonna chew on that.
Oh yeah, she doesn't. Oh, don't let go. It's giving feedback. She doesn't want you all to hear me chewing. So
Oh, it won't pick that up, I don't think.
Hmm.
All right.
if you do hear it, just know it's delicious.
Well, that smells amazing.
Thank you guys for letting us be on here. Meredith, do you
Oh,
want to
thank
say
you,
anything
Meredith.
before we go?
Any last parting words?
Any last words?
Any last words? Meredith Mack. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Yes.
And we've had a really great time. Thank you for hosting
This was a lot of fun.
and showing us how involved kids can be in the kitchen. And it's very true. When kids are involved in cooking, we tend to see them eating
Don't try.
more of the foods and being more
Right.
willing to try. So
No.
we will see you next month.
Real life, yeah.
Sarah Halley, who's a nurse practitioner, will be here, and we're going to cook some culturally Jewish dishes
Yum.
as we head into the high season. And we hope that you'll be able to join us. It'll be August 23rd at 12 p.m. And Meredith, you have one more thing to say?
It's my birthday.
Oh, that's close to her birthday. So yes, for Meredith's birthday, tune in on August 23rd. Thank you guys so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.